Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
A Hidden City Book Company Productions.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Well, Sam, welcome back. How was your weekend?
Oh, fine. It's hot. It's getting hot.
It took a while this year, but it's finally getting hot in Texas again. Not looking forward to it.
Yep. I was just telling Kat. I was like, Kat, I can't do another year of just pants, jeans, and regular work pants. I got to start wearing shorts.
Oh man, I'm so self-conscious about my legs.
I know.
I can't wear shorts.
Hey man, you have the benefit of working by yourself.
True.
So you wear shorts anytime you want.
True.
I have to be in an actual building, working with people. But you know what?
With coworkers and the public.
Yeah. But it's too hot to be self-conscious.
That's true. Dude,
I can't afford to be self-conscious with this heat.
But you also have to consider, okay, what's the length of the shorts? How long is too long? It makes me look like a kid or a cholo. How short is too short? Make me look like a hoochie daddy.
Don't ever say that again.
Okay, and then what kind of shoes? Because I like to wear, sometimes I wear boots. Can't wear boots with shorts.
That's true.
My tennies. How high are the socks? Yeah, these are all the questions.
I might just have to full dive into the cholo aesthetic.
Oh my god!
Just so I can breathe. Just so I'm not sweating so much at work.
Well, here, let me see. I'm gonna do. This isn't gonna help our listeners at all, but this might help you. I'm typing in hipster shorts.
Why?
Because you got the beard and you got the longer hair. Okay.
So I'm automatically a hipster? That's what I'm hearing.
For men.
Wow. I feel betrayed.
Okay, so look, they just look like shorts. Not skinny, but not baggy. And they all look about anywhere between 2 to 3 inches above the knee.
All right.
Okay. Some are jeans. Others have cool designs. They just seem to be wearing a kind of either Converse style or tennis shoe.
Yeah.
Or those slip-ons. I don't know, man.
Nice.
No, ankle socks, all of them.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Not bad. We'll see, man. I was surprised because this year we made it all the way to April, maybe mid-April, until we had to turn the air conditioner on. So that's impressive for Texas.
Yeah.
I think last year it was early March because it was a good ways before my birthday. So I'm like, wow, we got more than an extra month of no AC. So, and not that it wasn't hot, but there was still a breeze, so it was fine. It was doable.
Yeah.
So,
and there were still plenty of days where, it was pretty cloudy, or that breeze, even if it was a little humid, that breeze really, really saved you. But now too hot.
Listeners, if you're not from Texas, what you need to understand about our heat is that one, it's hot, deadly hot. But two, what really gets you is the humidity. So when I was living in California, I noticed the heat was different. When I was in LA, I felt like the sun was beating down from above and burning from above, and it was hot. And when it got hot, it sucked. That's what heat does. But in Texas, so if LA and California, that heat is I imagine the heat warming lamps when you go get fried chicken. I don't know if you remember those. They used to be those red bulbs.
Yeah.
It's just baking you from above. Texas is more like an oven because the heat literally comes from above, the sides, and the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the humidity soaks it in, and there's no escaping it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who has naturally wavy hair, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know who doesn't have this problem? Our friends in Antarctica. So I did some research.
Okay.
I found out that the platform we use, Buzzsprout, that's what hosts our podcast. They don't have stats for Antarctica. So
Yeah. We knew that.
well, no, we didn't. We just knew that we didn't have any listeners. So we could have listeners, but we wouldn't know
Oh.
because they don't give Antarctica stats.
Oh, wow.
So, in the words of Bernie Sanders, once again, I'm asking you if you listen to our podcast in Antarctica, please let us know. Yeah.
You know what we need, Matt?
What do we need?
We need an email.
Oh, we do need an email.
We need an email to where
Yeah.
we're reachable and people can, because like
Not
Twitter.
everyone's on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, not everyone's on Twitter anymore. And Instagram, I just don't trust people that message me through Instagram. It's all promotions and
Yeah.
sex bots anyway. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not about that life.
Okay, I'm writing my note. I want to have a public email by next episode.
There we go.
So if you're from Antarctica, don't tell us until next week when we give you our email.
We'll try and reach out anyway. We still want to know,
Still on
but
Twitter, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and we don't have like an official Lost Legacies account,
yeah,
so that doesn't help either. So we can do
yeah.
a Lost Legacies email. All right, I'll get on that.
All
Also, speaking of stats, we have a new top episode.
right. We do?
Yep, because for the longest time it was our very first episode, Lost season 1, episode 1,
Oh, okay.
and then soon it got overtaken by Lost season 1, episode 12, the
The heart
random
wants what
episode
it wants.
I called The Heart Wants What It Wants.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of people downloading, especially from Brazil, so I got to thank them for that.
Thanks, Brazil.
Now, and I've noticed this because I've seen it climbing up the ranks. Arcane season 1, episode 4, I think, get jinxed.
Huh.
So Brazil, man, you got competition with those League of Legends fans. And that's what's so
Hey,
weird because like they download this episode, but not like any of the ones before.
yeah.
So it's one thing if like, oh, I'm gonna listen to the episode where they talk about the red wedding. Oh, I want to hear, But
Hmm.
like I can't think of anything specific in that episode of Lost that would really get that. And then seeing all the how many fans from Brazil or listens downloads from Brazil, I'm like, okay, this is Selena Gomez fans for sure. As for Arcane, I guess just because it's called Get Jinxed, you know, because that
Maybe.
is that is the song too. That's like Jinx's theme song.
Well, true, but how long has, Arcane's been out for a while, right?
2, 3 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what like
Mhm.
why do you ask? Like,
Well, I don't know. I was just gonna because it just feels weird. Like, why now? You know?
well, it's been consistent, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's not like all of a sudden everyone's listening to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but and also it's like those downloads aren't for the other Arcane episodes.
Yeah,
You know, it's just that one. So I think it really has to do with the title. Also,
that makes
now
sense.
that
Yeah.
all these platforms, like Spotify, you have Spotify has music and podcasts on the same app,
Hmm.
whereas Apple, you have to get a separate app for that. So
Yeah.
type in "Get Jinx." I don't know, maybe it pops up.
Maybe.
Actually, that's a good theory, Sam.
Hmm.
Let's check this out. All
Well,
right, let's.
I just did a quick Google search. I wanted to see if Get Jinx was popular in the news spectrum for whatever reason, but nope, couldn't find anything. Just from my cursory glance.
Okay, this doesn't. work because I am subscribed to Lost Legacies
Yeah.
on Spotify. Because when I look up Get Jinxed, the song pops up, and then number two, it's our episode.
Ah,
So someone who is not subscribed to our podcast should look it up at some other point in time.
well, it's neither of us because we're both subscribed to our
Yeah, I know.
podcast.
So if you're listening to this and you're not subscribed, first off, shame on you.
No, 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 no. We
Secondly,
want them to
thank
come
you. Help
in.
us out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Go check this out. Go check out what pops up when you type in "get jinxed," and then you can come back and subscribe.
Yeah, yeah.
Please do that.
Oh, I do have an announcement. I am no
Oh, that's
longer
right.
doing the 100 live tweets.
Wow, that was record
I
time.
made it 3 episodes and I'm like, this is it. So, because I was even planning to do multiple episodes a week, but I'm like, you know
Hmm.
what? I really don't like live tweeting. You know, I'd rather just sit back and enjoy the show, especially since it's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
wasn't like there was a lot of interaction anyway.
that's true. Yeah,
So I think I still want to do our Lost Legacies like specials on it, but like I said, it's still going to take a time. I'm still going to do like one episode a week. So
yeah.
14-ish weeks from now, Sam and I will talk about season one of the 100.
Wow,
Yeah, something like that. It's tough, man. There's a lot of content to do out there, and you got to kind of narrow it down and focus here and there.
it's true.
You know, I know free time is something that we don't have a lot of, but it's like I always feel like we can be doing more for either this channel or Cinnamon and Oatmeal or just anything.
Hmm.
So I thought live tweeting would be fun. I was wrong. I think it would have been fun if I wasn't the only one, you know?
Yeah,
But it's like, no, no, it's like podcasting by yourself. What's the point? Some
yeah,
people do it. I'm like, I don't know. That's not my thing. I need
yeah.
fan questions or something. Give me something. Now we get to it. The episode that gave Sam nightmares.
Yep.
Dark, season 3, episode 7, Between the Time, where essentially, I don't know how I would sum it up. Essentially, Sam, I feel like this was a series finale
Mm,
because so much of the show we've been watching got wrapped up. You know, A-
true.
not not everything, of course, but like so many character arcs came full circle. You're like, okay, all right, I understand Noah's story now.
Hmm.
I understand. I kind of understand. I don't know. It just feels like I'm not saying like this is where you could have ended it, but I feel like with one episode left, they really had to tie up a lot of loose ends and push it out of the way. Kind of like the episode where they killed off 3 characters. It's like, yep, they're tying it up. This episode just felt like we're starting to tie everything up. So
Yeah,
whatever's in the last episode is going to be like core.
yeah.
So let's start off with what we already teased. What was your nightmare?
It was mostly just the fear that somebody was coming to get me, and I was just in like surroundings that felt like they were wind in,
Mm.
both like apocalypse and pre-apocalypse.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just had I don't know. I just had a really hard time.
It was just the
One,
vibe.
falling asleep. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I don't know. I felt like I got delirious or something. It was just it was bad. And you know why? You know what spurred it on? Once again, somebody got smothered in this
Uh
episode.
huh.
Absolutely no trigger warning.
Nope.
Absolutely just, and I knew it. I knew it the second he opened the door. I was like, oh, yeah, I know what's gonna happen now. I know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. And then it did, and I'm like, well, damn it.
I even wrote that in my notes. I'm like, ooh, Sam's not gonna like this.
Nope.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, yeah, it feels weird. And you know what? I know I talked about this last time, but it's like I really just don't know where this fear comes from. It had to have been something I watched,
Hmm.
when we were younger that I
Hmm.
just latched onto, and that's the thing too. Like I like movies and TV shows like really just affect me in a certain way. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. I feel, and especially right now, for some reason I feel like at this point in my life I feel a little bit more uh what's the word? Like I guess like emotional. So like when I watch something that obviously is meant to like evoke an emotion, I feel it, and I feel it,
Hmm.
you know, pretty hardcore.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think it was just the fact that like this episode in particular was so dark that even afterwards, like have trying to have like a cool down session of like, hey, we're just gonna watch happy YouTube videos, and that like that's yeah, we're just gonna do that. Yeah, once I get into bed, like I just still felt like this pit in my stomach.
You also usually watch dark early in the day because I know you're texting me when it's over. So
Mhm.
like, did you watch it later last night or? Because
Not too much
I felt like it
later.
was later when you texted me.
It was, yeah, it was a little later. We just got started later.
Hmm.
Had to make dinner and all of that. So
I mean, fat load of goodness does you now, but I feel like you should have like a constant, like something
yeah,
that makes you feel good afterwards.
yeah,
Not, and it can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go watch happy YouTube videos. No, it needs to be something like proven. Like,
hmm,
so when I was living by myself, I had trouble watching Game of Thrones because I would
mm,
watch it after work. So it's already super late. I'm already super tired, and then like I would just have like anxiety before bed. So I
yeah,
would usually fall asleep watching New Girl, and
mm,
like
hmm,
that, I was fine.
yeah,
I love that show. Again, it's kind of what the scientists, doctors, citizen doctors. It's like what the citizen doctors were saying, which I mentioned last week or the week before, of how the reason we watch the same thing over and over is because we feel in control because
yeah,
we know what's going to happen. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that's what you need.
hmm,
You need to know what you're getting into to cool down, to calm down,
yeah.
or you can just
Well,
drink,
well, yeah. After this episode, I might just take up drinking.
but not with melatonin. I know a lot of people take melatonin and they just released that report.
Yeah,
It messes with you. I'm like, mm-mm.
yeah. Me and melatonin are weird. I took some. It's weird because ever since I moved out, I've had a hard time sleeping.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I was taking melatonin like the first like couple of months, away from home, and yeah, after a little while, and I feel like I feel like it worked, but only for like 2 weeks, and then after that, it just never did anything for me again. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I never liked it. I always felt just like tipsy the next day. I was like, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure I shouldn't be driving a car right now.
yeah,
It was just like it was such a weird experience. Um, but I don't know. I've just had that reaction to all kinds of heavy medications.
yeah.
Like when I was going through anxiety and stuff, and I had Xanax, and like it was helping my anxiety,
Hmm.
but there was also a lot of other stuff it was bringing into my life. So when I finally decided to stop taking it, uh man, I like crashed hard. Like it was I don't know, like that experience made me it put me in the mindset like I'm never going to medicate again.
Mm,
Like something really really major needs to happen to medicate like that. For something mental, like if I break something, obviously, I'm going to take medicine,
sure, sure.
But like what the stuff that messes with your brain and sleep cycles, I don't know. Maybe my body's just too complicated for that, you know? So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just like, yeah. It's more of the story. Don't drink. Don't take melatonin and or drink while taking melatonin.
yeah.
So, um, Yeah. I felt like I was living in dark. You know,
Yeah.
I was Wyndon.
Oh
I
gosh.
was the corruption.
We are all Winden.
We are all Wyndon, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um oh man, that's a horrible thought. Yeah, so this episode, I agree. It definitely was dark, but again, I still think the darkest one was the one where they killed off three people. You know? Like that was dark and bleak. This kind of had more uh I don't want to say fun, but it was fun because we start seeing things coming together. We see characters start meeting, you know?
Yeah.
The one where the three people died, there was like nothing. There nothing happened. It's just like things were happening, but it just kept spiraling and spiraling. This
Mm-hmm.
time we see things are happening, pieces are moving. We're connecting the dots in our head. So I'm like, all right, I really liked seeing Noah's side of the story in this.
Yeah, I do too.
It doesn't excuse anything he's done, but it just shows how complicated and messy this whole time war is.
Mm-hmm. I felt like they really like upped the budget or saved all of the budget just like for this episode because like the
Mm,
aspect ratios were changing at the beginning and
hmm
just the like the talk about Schrodinger's cat,
Oh,
you
the
know, was
beginning. We went
given.
back to Tannhouse's show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was cool seeing that.
just that whole setup. I was like, this looks really good.
Yeah.
This is where the budget went, and I don't know why, but it just
Yeah.
looks really good.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about too much because we already talked about it, before recording. I feel like we could just talk for hours about Schrodinger's, how do you say it?
Schrodinger's.
Schrodinger's cat.
There
The
you go.
cat. I'm just gonna call it
Yeah.
a cat. We could talk about the cat for hours. Um, but I feel like what I do want to mention is I feel like a lot of people, one, I think everyone's kind of tired of the multiverse at this point. You know,
A little
like
bit, yeah.
like it's just getting so like everyone's doing it. It's getting so overplayed and like but I think a lot of people kind of see it like, oh, it's a fiction. Oh, okay, blah blah blah, whatever. But I think the coolest thing about the multiverse is what they address in Dark, is
Hmm.
that it's based on a scientific theory, you know, and there's not proof that the multiverse exists, but there's proof that it could exist,
Hmm.
and I think that is what something that's really cool and something we forget. Like, oh, there's an evil Doctor Strange now. Okay, we kind of just get used to seeing it now in pop culture and media and stuff.
Yeah.
I would really like to see a kind of grounded. You know what's a kind of grounded multiverse story?
Don't say it.
I'm gonna say it,
Don't
bro.
say it.
Coherence.
Damn it.
Damn it! I hope I didn't spoil that for anyone. Everyone, go watch Coherence. It's on Amazon Prime. That's all I'm gonna say. Which the YouTube channel that I really like, Target Audience, one of the guys voted that as his number one underrated film. I was like, yes, bro, yes.
I
No
still say
script, all improv.
sure.
An
Yeah.
outline, an outline of a script which was like worked on for like 10 years. It's just a wild and crazy. Made for $5,000. Love it. Love it.
Damn it. You're really hitting all my buttons here where it's like God, I can't fight that.
Yeah.
Ah, you're
Listeners,
right.
we've mentioned
I
it before. Sam has issues with this film, but once
yeah.
once Sam learned about the behind the scenes process of making Coherence, he kind of started to turn. Now I'm kind of curious what you would say about it now if you were to go watch it.
That is true. I've thought
Already,
about that.
yeah, kind of like already knowing the twist, knowing what's about, but also knowing all the
Mhm.
behind the scenes. I really wonder. Yeah. Also because, talking to Mickey about it that one time, all of his complaints, which were all valid, and I get what he's saying, but all of his complaints can be chalked up to, oh yeah, it's because it's on the fly.
Yeah.
There was no script. And
Yeah.
as someone who loves the script writing process, and I have a love hate relationship with improv, I didn't think I would like a movie that much that didn't have a script.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can see that.
but Dark did have a script. And it's been hard because I've been trying to find behind the scenes stuff. There's like clips you can find online on YouTube, but I'm trying to find like because I want to know. I've heard, I haven't had it confirmed that they were working on this story for like 15 years before they
Mm,
made it. And I was like, man, I that's what I want to know. I want to hear about that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, this episode was it was crazy. I love how much the story jumped through time. And this is the first time where we actually saw the year full. It's like we're
Hmm.
not messing around anymore. We're not leaving it up to the transitions, for you to figure out what time this is. Like you need to know this is the year we're in.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it was prime timeline. I think maybe two scenes went to the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's really like the opening and then like right towards the end. That we
mm,
go back to Mirrorwinden.
hmm hmm
Um, but yeah, yeah, everything else is in the prime timeline.
let's talk about this that opening because Tannhaus is describing Schrodinger's cat
Hmm.
while we're also seeing how we get to Martha's.
Hmm.
So it was confirmed. Uh, we don't see it then; we see it at the very end, but it is confirmed that Adam kills Martha and the origin.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But we also see how there's another Martha, and it's essentially it was a theme of Jonas. You
Hmm.
know, in one, it's all the same timeline, so that's why it gets confusing. It's all the same timeline, but in one instance, Martha saves him, and in the other, she doesn't. So I guess that's kind of where the timeline splits.
Yeah.
So now, seeing this episode, what is actually happening? One Martha saves Jonas. The other one, in the reality where she doesn't save him, it's because she goes off with Bartosz.
Yeah.
Ah. And then we see what happens to her. She gets
Hmm.
scarred by Ava just to prove a point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, really? All of
I'd have,
us are have this horrible scar through every single time loop because you wanted to prove a point?
I'd have punched her.
Ah, I
I'd be
know.
like, no, that's dumb. I thought it was gonna be like a cool Terminator fight, through time
Mm-mm.
battle scene.
Like
No,
she
you just,
fights herself or something. That would be
yeah,
nuts.
yeah.
I would have tried. I would have stabbed her with that knife, but it probably wouldn't have worked. Like Jonas.
Yep. Yep. We found that out.
Yeah, that was rough, man. That was a rough scene
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah, that really was. Yeah, more and more, I think I'm getting it. Like I'm seeing it, because like we work with books, so sometimes I'm like flipping through, just to like check if there's any damages. I'm seeing more and more like pages up at the front of books being like, "Hey, author's note, this book's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
It deals with this, and this. Read, you know, read with that in mind, or like they
hmm
usually leave off with something like that. It's like I appreciate it, and especially also Dimension 20, are one of our favorite D&D shows. They started doing that during what they billed as their horror season, because they did deal with sort of a lot of
hmm
body horror. But even now, like every season after, they've put up just a warning, because it's like, hey, even though this is all fun, we're playing around, we're making stories, uh there can be triggering stuff. People can be triggered by stuff. Obviously, I'm one example, so like,
Yeah.
but what's triggering for me isn't going to be triggering for somebody else. So like, having a scene of, someone attempting suicide, that could be pretty triggering.
I'm I'm on two sides of this matter because yes, I absolutely agree that there should be some kind of trigger warnings, but there's kind of the more I don't want to say it's the cynical side of me, but like I'm seeing what's happening and like there's the pattern of the way. we quote unquote we're labeling content.
Hmm.
And I think the big obvious one is YouTube, because now it's at this place where like if you cuss within the first 30 seconds of your YouTube video,
Yeah.
algorithm forgets it,
Yeah.
you know? So it's such a weird thing because I do like how there's a lot of things out there that are putting the trigger warnings up front,
Hmm.
but I'm kind of nervous that that's going to affect uh the algorithm. It's the algorithm is always screwing up everyone, screwing over
Yeah.
the artist,
Yeah.
and that's where the whole unalive thing comes from. i think
Oh yeah.
I think part of it is people not wanting to trigger people who are triggered by just the word suicide.
Hmm.
Just the word can trigger someone. So I think a part of it is that they don't want to do that, but also a lot of people who do whatever, like there's a lot of mental health people online and who they talk about suicide, and they were noticing how they were getting lost in the algorithm, which is why we now refer it to as unalive. And we've talked
Hmm.
about that. We've talked about how like disrespectful that feels like. It kind
Yeah.
of feels like it's making something light out of something really tragic. But the facts are, it's so the video doesn't get lost out there in
Yeah.
the algorithm. So it's disheartening and it's kind of scary. It's kind of like a self censoring
Very.
type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm kind of worried about. If there's an episode of Dark that features someone getting smothered to death, and you put that on the trigger warning, I think that would be fine at first, but then at some point, are we gonna get to the point where it's like, oh, this is a trigger, so this show's not gonna pop up on your Netflix page, on your front
Mm.
page,
Yeah.
because we know you don't like these words. And that's what
Yeah.
kind of makes me nervous. Not so much for the viewer, because it's like that is kind of curated by your own interest, which is already the way things run, but it's more for like the creators. And it's like, oh man, I had one smothering scene in one episode out of 100 episodes. Now
Hmm.
none of my stuff is getting out there, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just, that's what kind of has me nervous about that.
Hmm.
But I don't know.
I no, I agree with you. I agree with every point that you made. I really don't have a rebuttal for any of that.
Yeah,
Um
there's no
it's
right or wrong.
yeah, it's a complex issue, where I mean obviously like we're still like seeing the effects of that, because so many people are leaving YouTube, because of,
Yeah.
a lot of demonetizing, TikTok is just it's all of these things now, so that people don't get demonetized, where it's like we can't even talk about the very real dangers that are happening in the world because I say one word and oh nope, that's a censored word. We got to put it down. And it's like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sucks. And it's wrong. And that's why everybody needs to be paying attention to what's up in their local elections and even the
Mm.
national elections. Because yeah, uh,
Hmm.
things are kind of scary out there, gang. I will
Yep.
say, if you are a creator and you do put a smothering scene in your work, I personally invite you to just rethink that option, please, for my
Hmm.
sake.
Hmm.
You know, maybe do something a little different. Maybe they get electrocuted. Maybe they throw him out a window. I don't know. Maybe loose the dogs on
Maybe
him.
you just don't show it.
Yeah,
Maybe you
maybe
just
just
get
don't show it.
a shot of like Adam coming down on the camera with his hands, and then it cuts to black.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
just do that. A tasteful, tasteful
What
smother.
if what if all our murder scenes,
They
all the
tickled to death. You're tickled to death. That's even better. How about that?
no, Sam, we don't want to censor ourselves. So what
Oh,
we
dang
do it
it.
in a creative, artistic way. So we do it the way they would do all the love scenes in films. So as Adam's gonna go down to smother Hannah, the
Hmm.
camera just pans left to the fireplace. No, to the drapes in the window blowing.
Yeah, the open window, yeah,
The
blowing.
open window.
All that. While the violins are picking up really fast and really loud, so we can't
Hmm.
hear
Hmm.
anything. And then, you know, cut to uh
And like
body.
Roger Moore, he just looks at the camera and he says like a cheesy one-liner, you
Yeah.
know?
All the things I do for England. Smother. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Oedipus. Really?
what?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I
I mean,
hardly know her.
wow. Jeez. Well, speaking of, Hannah dies, is murdered.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
she had it coming. It sucks that it happened in that way
yeah.
by her own son. Um, Especially because I'm really curious because it did seem like she even admitted she's like, I was wrong. It was me. Blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, she admits that like this is all my fault,
yeah,
and like I don't know if it is. Like I'm not gonna place the whole of the blame on Hannah, but like
not the time travel stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
none of the time travel stuff, but like there's a lot of stuff that she did wrong, willfully and negligently, doing wrong. And yeah, I don't know, but I mean, yeah, it's weird, it's crazy. There's a real the kind of like Oedipal sort of thing, with this.
yeah, that's what I said. Oedipus.
Oh, did you say Oedipus?
Yeah, that's what I said. I hardly know her.
Oh,
My
okay.
joke is even funnier when I explain it
Yeah, when you
twice.
explain the joke, yeah, that's where it's a real knee slapper right there.
Hmm.
Wow.
This episode, we did stray from the path of time. Usually, we're in 33-year increments.
Mm-hmm.
Tannhaus, he's just doing his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess technically it does end up because he starts in the 70s, but then we kind of see him the montage of him building that machine,
Mm-hmm.
and it ends in
It's like,
86 or something. So it's about the same
yeah,
time as the rest of the shows in the 33. It started about 10 years before.
yeah,
And I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's why I'm glad they had the giant year on the
yeah.
screen. I'm just going through my notes. Bartosh, he's finally leaving. So what happens? They send a cute girl back in time and he
Mm-hmm.
falls for her. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
what a putz, man. He's like the easiest like he stands up, he tries to take a stand, but he always just like kind of backs down and like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I like Mirror Bartosh more.
I mean, we kind
We
of.
haven't really seen much of him, but he's just kind of like going with the flow and like he stands up to his dad and he's really pissed, but then like he's just been helping Martha and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
but then he's clearly manipulated because he leads Martha into Ava's trap.
Yeah.
And it's just like this guy is
He's, you know what? He's just, like Mira Bartosh feels like somebody who just toes the line. Like
yeah,
he'll rail against authority if he doesn't like you, but at the end of the day, he's gonna fall in line.
yeah,
Um, whereas like Prime Bartosh still will rail against you, but he can be course corrected too. You
yeah.
know, and then yeah, we see like by the end of it, it's like, yep, he's there with Adam. He didn't leave.
No, he
You
stays
know,
with okay, what was her name?
uh,
Celia,
Celia, yeah,
the cute girl from the future.
finally given a name,
Uh-huh. They have a
Celia.
kid,
Mm-hmm.
Hanel,
Mm-hmm.
who ends up growing up to become Noah.
Noah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
later they have the little daughter, Agnes. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, and the whole birth scene of little baby Hanel, and then the death scene of Celia and the birth of Agnes, it's just like Bartosz just feels like he's going through emotions. You could
Yeah.
tell like he's super like just broken when he finds out his wife's dead, but it's just like what can I do? I'm on the
Yeah.
path. It's just man. I
Yeah.
see again, like we were saying, if this was 10 episodes, I would have liked to see Bartosh kind of try and break out of that.
Hmm.
Especially by this point, once he's older and having kids, is there a way I can save them from this or whatever?
Yeah.
Jonas slash Adam is kind of immortal.
Hmm.
Like, yeah. I want to know more about that. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, because his future selves already exist.
Yeah.
He at this point in time can't die, which is an
So,
interesting thing to think about when you think about the Jonas that died in Mirrorwinden, you know,
yeah.
which I don't know. I
Well,
have
that's interesting because he never grew up to be Adam.
not in that. Yeah.
So it's like, so essentially, what we've discovered through the show is you can't change time.
Hmm.
You can go back and mess around, but it won't change. So
Yeah.
it's like if it already exists at some point in time, it's solid. It's like
Hmm.
bulletproof essentially.
Hmm.
So there was no, well, I mean, there was Adam is from the prime timeline,
Hmm.
but in the one where Jonas who travels to Mirrorwind never becomes Adam.
Yeah.
So that's how they were able to kill him
Yeah.
because he had no future.
Hmm.
Or I guess you could say the reverse, like he always died. The fact
Hmm.
that Prime Jonas always died was the bulletproof part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just didn't know that. Sad, dude.
Yeah.
So now we have the Jonas we have, we're kind of done with. Like we caught up because he's become the other actor now. We saw his
Yeah.
story and now we're starting to see him with Adam scars and
Hmm.
stuff. Uh we still have Mirror Martha, the one who's alive, like
Yeah.
present day Mirror Martha. She's still there. The other one got killed.
Yeah.
So
That's
this one's also
crazy.
pregnant, right? They're both pregnant.
I think so. Yes, yes. Yes, because this is because the
That's
marcher
right.
that we have left is the one who saw Jonas die. She was gonna go back to save him, but then Bartosh stopped her, and then she gets the scar on her face. And pretty sure the next one of the very next things that she does is go into the other room and kill Jonas.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, okay, so Martha's story, Mirror Martha, she meets Jonas. He shows her everything. She sees him get killed by herself.
hmm.
And then essentially she makes the choice. She saves Jonas. She goes through the whole thing. Uh, at some point, she starts working with Adam,
Hmm.
and then she saves Jonas and all that stuff, yada yada. And then Adam kills her.
Hmm.
So the other one, we don't know, but she gets captured. She gets scarred. She kills Jonas. So that hasn't happened to her yet. We might see that next episode. I don't know.
Hmm.
I Because where does her story end in this episode? That was it, right? She gets cut.
Yeah.
Okay. Noah, Jonas, and Claudia have been working together for almost 20 years
Hmm.
in the apocalypse. Like, dude, that's wild.
Hmm.
And poor Elizabeth, man. Like,
Oh man.
such a great scene though, where like Noah's telling her about paradise. Meanwhile, future Elizabeth and Charlotte go in to steal baby Elizabeth. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, of course the baby wouldn't cry because it's the
It's her
mother. It's her
mom.
mother.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh
And
man.
she sees the baby and she starts crying because this is
Uh
the first time she's seen her baby Charlotte in decades.
yeah, yeah.
And at this point realizes that like I'm the one who kidnapped her. I did
Hmm.
this, you know? It's like,
And meanwhile,
man,
Charlotte's just going through the motions. She's like, okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, it's like it's so crazy. Like I really don't know what to make of like Charlotte as a character right now. I'm hoping she gets to do something like in
Yeah.
this like very last episode. But it like honestly, it kind of feels like what is there that you can do?
Dude, like I've that's kind of one of my main things complaints about this season. Charlotte, like she
Yeah.
was one of my favorite characters through the first two seasons, and now um, she's just going through the motions. Mirror
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte was cool because we got
Mm-hmm.
to see how she was a little different. And she's still a detective, but now she's dead. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, big scene. Claudia kills Mirror Claudia
Mm-hmm.
and goes undercover into Mirror Winden.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like, like that scene changed everything. I was like, okay, okay. So we've always this is the light and the dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sigmundus versus what is it? Eric Lux,
I think so, yeah.
something like that. Adam,
Mm-hmm.
he needs to preserve the timeline to create two apocalypses
Mm-hmm.
to kill the origin, thus ending everything.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work.
Nope.
Meanwhile, Ava, she wants to preserve both timelines just to preserve both worlds, just so they can keep living, but
Mm-hmm.
they're stuck in this loop.
Yeah.
Claudia, on the other hand, she actually is trying to end it. She's trying to end the
Mm-hmm.
loop without ending the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this really makes sense now, like where her character comes into play. Because old Claudia's been doing all this stuff. And when Prime Claudia tells Mirror Claudia about her older self, Mirror Claudia had no idea what she's talking about. She's like, what? No. She's
Yeah.
like, did you see her, the older me? She's like, no. And that's when she realized, she's like, she was telling me that we can save Regina. I don't think that meant she was going to continue to suffer loop after loop.
Yeah.
And that's when she kills Mirror Claudia, takes her
Mm-hmm.
place.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Claudia is like the savior in a way. She's the one, after all of this, like she's like the one who's actually we should have been siding with the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Old Claudia.
Yeah, yeah, old Claudia.
Oh,
Really like, man, like it's it's so crazy because I feel like okay, uh like Adam's playing like he's playing 2D chess.
yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Sorry. Adam is playing like 3D chess with everything, you know, like
Hmm.
seeing like I see everything, blah blah blah, doing all this stuff. Feels like Claudia, she's playing the like the Spock chess from Star
Yeah.
Trek,
Yeah.
you
Star
know,
Trek
with like
chess.
all the tiers. She's like,
Yeah.
I see everything. And I
Yeah.
know where all the pieces are and how they move. And it's like, and I gotta do this and this and this and this. It's gonna suck, but hopefully it's worth it. You
Yeah.
know?
And then so at the end, when after Adam kills Martha and the origin, he's just there, like he can't believe he's still alive. And like it
Mm-hmm.
didn't work. And then who walks in? Old
In
Claudia.
Claudia. Mm-hmm.
And he's just like shocked, like, hell yeah, dude, you were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
You killed your mom for no reason. You killed your
Uh-huh.
mom and your girlfriend from another
Uh-huh.
universe for no reason.
Mm-hmm. And confined his little sister to a loop of where she's going to die with Bartosh.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah.
yeah. That might be the worst part, actually.
Yeah, poor
Yeah,
Celia.
yeah.
Man.
Poor Celia.
What a
Justice for
trooper.
Celia.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Celia is Hannah and Egon's daughter.
Mm-hmm. We were right. There are future people living in the past. There are past people living in the future.
Hmm.
There's time babies everywhere. You
Hmm.
know.
So Hannah, before Adam kills her, says that a woman named Ava found them and says, we can help you find Jonas and you got to go here. So
Mm-hmm.
was that the first time Jonas hears the name Ava? That's what
Ooh.
I was wondering because like he knew of other Martha. He knew she was from another world.
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing. She never mentioned that, like, hey, Ava's me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, Sam's not gonna like this.
And you're right, I didn't. And with a child present in the room. And he's such a bastard for being like, shh, we don't want to wake your mom. You son of
She's
a
literally
go
there.
to
Like,
hell. Yeah,
I was
she's
like,
there.
oh my
Man,
god,
I don't know how anybody who sleeps like that,
me either.
you know.
Wow.
Me at best, I don't like splay out. I scrunch up. You know,
Oh,
I
you
have like
really like in a little ball?
yeah, I have like T-Rex arms, you know, and sometimes I wake up because my arm is asleep and I'm like, oh God. Yeah.
So I just realized watching this episode, I'm like, wait a minute. This whole season is a prequel to season one. I'm like, so
Kind
much
of,
is
yeah.
tying in. I love that montage with uh the music. I don't even know how to pronounce this. The song is called Pneumothorax. The
Okay.
band is called Blue Neck.
Hmm.
And it plays on the montage of where we see essentially a clip show
Mm-hmm.
of like the first two seasons, and you see everything that happens to
Mm-hmm.
uh
Like
alternate
Noah,
Jonas, and he
yeah.
becomes Adam, and then Noah, and like I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
man, dude.
And it's so interesting, you know, because it's like it recontextualizes everything.
Yeah,
We see exactly what it took to like, you know, radicalize Noah, you
yeah,
know, and for him to like become Noah, you
yeah.
know. So like so doing that, you know, we see where like Claudia kind of came in, you know, and was doing her own thing. We see where Adam or where yeah, where like Jonas becomes yeah, yeah. So it's like it's really cool. Also, I don't remember if you said this on the pod or off pod, but you said like going back and watching the show is even better because there's hints of another world as early as season one. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even put it together until they were doing the clip show where we see older Claudia disappear in the same way that all the people in Mirrorwinden do, you know,
Oh,
with the
mhm.
little time sphere. I didn't even put that together. It's like, oh, yeah. She, of course, like that's how she could that like
Yeah.
she wasn't stuck just using the
The
device, you
device in
know.
every 33 years,
Yeah,
and
in the
yeah.
33-year loop, like she could go wherever. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
makes total sense now.
Mm-hmm. I think it's
Man.
such a wild ride watching, already knowing, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, kind of like coherence.
Stop. Stop it.
But yeah, like it does kind of things kind of start clicking and kind of starts making more sense, you know? And it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Now, for a rewatch, I wouldn't recommend doing one a week because there were
Oh,
parts of
for
this
sure.
that like felt really slow.
Hmm.
Um, that I don't remember feeling really slow when I first watched it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, this is definitely a bingeable show, and I think it might even be towards your benefit because one a week, I think that kind of gives you room to like. Well, it depends. It's a double-bladed edged sword, you know, double-edged sword. Like
Yeah.
binging it, I feel like keeps everything fresh and it keeps all your clues up here in your head. But if you do it like we did, one a week, I it lets you theorize. You're thinking about it for the week,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So I don't know. I mean, it could go either way.
Well, yeah, you know, I think like I think doing it the way we've done it, at least for like a first watch, you know,
Yeah,
I think that's cool. But even like, you know, even if you do like, oh, I'm gonna do like an episode a day, I think
yeah,
that's fine. You know, I think that's
yeah. I
perfectly
think that's fine
valid,
too.
you
Especially
know?
because this season, these episodes are over an hour.
Yeah, they're
At
over
least
like
at least the last few.
yeah, the last few have been over an hour, and you know, again, like a lot of them are as the show goes on, they get heavier, you know,
Yeah,
content wise. So it's like, yeah, I think watching more than two episodes at a time, you know,
yeah.
Go with God. Like
Yeah.
that's, that's for you. That's for you to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And especially like I think earlier back when it was more just like a mystery with some time travel, kind of thrown in. Like I think season 1 is kind of perfect to do if you're gonna binge a season. I would say binge season 1. But I
Yeah.
think I think after that, do like one or two,
A night.
and then take a
Season
break.
on, 2 on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sam, gotta say it.
Say it.
One episode left. What are your predictions for the series finale of
Oh,
Dark?
God. Oh, it's all a dream in little Mads's head. He has a nightmare, and then the rest of the episode is everybody getting ready to go to the school where they're putting on a talent show, and Mads gets to do his
Magic tricks.
his magic tricks.
Oh,
And
or Mikhail. Are you talking about Mikhail?
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Mikhail gets to go do his magic trick, do all that stuff. And yeah,
Here's my theory.
that's your theory.
Because I mentioned, what did I say last time? Like, it's
Well,
all.
you mentioned it was all a dream, but then it's all also in like a snow globe right next to somebody, I think.
So here's what it is. It's all a play written by
Mm-hmm.
Martha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we're going very Wes Anderson here. All the people we're saying are actors playing the people, playing the characters in the play, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
And also she dies in a car crash. She gets run off a road. And so like this whole show has been like a memoir piece to Martha, whatever, Nielsen, Martha Nielsen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, did you watch Asteroid City?
No, but you told me about it.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I was gonna say, like, wow, that's kind of spot on. You're not that far off. That's right.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I did kind of talk to you about that. Yeah.
We just realized today that this is going to be the first, knock on wood, unless the world cracks open in the next week, this is going to be the first actual thing that we finish on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what else have we watched? Underwater. That was
Yeah,
one
I was
movie.
gonna say
That was one
like
movie.
that's a movie that doesn't count.
Arcane was one season, but season 2 is coming out.
Yeah, this
But
year.
yeah, but this is it. This is like the end of the show.
Yeah, yeah. No more after this.
I know.
That's crazy. The first show that we finished on Lost Legacies isn't even
It
lost.
wasn't even lost. You know, who knew when we had this idea during the writer strike that it was going to take us this long? I mean, math wise, it makes sense because it's 26 episodes, so it's 26 weeks. But it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
damn, that feels like such a long time ago.
Hmm.
Feels like 33 years ago, Sam.
Yeah, it really does. My hair was shorter back then.
Yeah, I think my hair was gray. I think I'm finding some white hairs now, man. I want to pull it off though. Like if I go white, I want to do like I want to look like Anderson Cooper or something, you know. But we'll see. Or I could just get really buff, and I'll look like Stephen Lang in Avatar.
I don't think. No, I don't think you want to.
My
He's a bad
job
guy.
is to keep you alive.
Oh gosh.
I will not succeed.
Wow.
He's such a good
So,
villain, dude.
so you're bad at your job, is what I'm hearing.
They'll eat you up and spit you out like juju beans.
Jeez.
Don't know what that
Stop.
means, but
Yeah, me either. I don't want to know.
I guess we're just gonna have to find out what happens next week.
Yeah.
Listeners, join us next week as we talk about Dark, Season 3, Episode 8,
Mm-hmm.
the series finale called The Paradise. I'm just curious because we've kind of talked about it before, and like, of course, we play around, but like, what do you think? Like, is the paradise real? Like, what does it look like in the world of dark?
I wouldn't even know, because so much of this is like, so much of this show is consequences of people's actions that reverberate through time, but in both directions.
Yeah.
The things in the past affect the future. Things in the future are a direct correlation, to something that happened in the past, or something like that. I think I just said the same thing but backwards. Um, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like time is such in flux, and the decisions that people make, no matter what era they're in, affect everybody else. A paradise, I think, honestly, a paradise is just where Wyndon doesn't exist. You know,
Oh, interesting.
young punky Yorick had it right. The perfect world is a world without Wyndon.
Dude, that's a good point.
Like there's so much going on, and it feels like this it's like it's the German Hellmouth, like from Buffy.
Yeah.
It's like all these bad and terrible things are happening in this one isolated area.
Hmm.
If you just take out that area, I think you're fine. I think
Yeah.
the rest of the
And
world
we've
is
talked
fine.
about it too. This is German, so like there's a certain kind of um I don't want to say dark. I want a better word than that, but there is like
Mhm.
a dark um this is like a weird twisted adult German fairy tale type story,
Yeah, there's
you
there's
know?
there's a seriousness that is kind of that cuts through all of like the
Mhm.
outlandish stuff where it's like this
We'll call it
is
tough, because it's not just
yeah.
dark, it's like tough, tough
Hmm.
love, tough hate, tough morals, you
Yeah,
know.
tough decisions,
Yeah, yeah,
and yeah, it's like, and it's not without some bright spots, but it really it's just like the the classic harsher fairy tales. It's like they're morals to keep you on the path, to keep you
yeah.
doing the right thing. And that's why it has to be tough. That's why it has to be bloody.
There you go, dude.
Um,
That's the point of the show. If you
yeah.
don't eat your vegetables, Sammy, you're going to Winden.
Oh no.
No.
No, be smothered by my own
Oh no, but your own son.
grandchild or something. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Yeah. Well,
by my
listeners.
own cat. That's what's gonna
Oh
happen.
jeez. Listeners, thanks for joining us. Have fun. Good luck watching the last episode. I hope you watch it before you listen to our next episode.
Yeah, same
Um,
here.
this is it. This is the like the last time we're gonna be. I've already gone through this, but Sam, this is like the last time you're gonna be living in a world where dark is still going on. Like
Hmm.
from after you watch that episode, it's always going to be different. You experienced it this one way, it's set in stone.
Hmm.
We've recorded it. All your feelings and all your thoughts to that show now will be post.
True.
It'll be hindsight.
True.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, especially something a show like this, which is such mentally heavy, and there's so much like hurdles and leaps you have to take logically in your brain just to keep up with the story. Like, I feel like
Hmm.
that's kind of a big deal. Like, wow, this this is it. My life's gonna change after this one episode. Kind of the same way we felt with like Battlestar Galactica. The
Yeah.
way I felt with Lost. Like, this is it. There was Lost, and then there's After Lost.
Yeah.
So in 1 week, you're gonna be After Dark. Ooh.
Ooh.
Lost Legacies After Dark. A new special. Uncensored. Take that, Texas. Oh man.
Unalive this.
Like this. We allow Pornhub. Oh man. You would think that alone, guys, if you don't know, Texas has cracked down like on all porn, or most porn and sex, like sites that allow sex work. Like,
Yeah.
you would think that alone would get people voting against some of these crazy people. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Times have changed.
Times are changed for real,
Uh-huh.
man. Well, okay. Um, on that cheery note, I guess.
I thought we had a pretty good ending, and then you had to go throw that in. It's like, wow, okay.
Well, because I'm like Lost Legacies After Dark. What are we talking about? First thing that came to my mind: sex. Because that's what After
And
Dark is.
and
We talk
see,
about the adult stuff.
okay, I guess that's true. And see here, I was thinking After Dark is where, because we're pretty positive on the podcast.
We're just,
After Dark is where we're unfiltered, we're unhinged, we're just like, you know what really sucks?
you know, what really grinds my gears.
You know what I hate, Matt? Coherence.
Oh no!
And I hate you for bringing it up so much. We're trying to talk about a
We're just gonna
quality
be
TV show.
We're gonna be negative on everything. We're just gonna talk about sex and whiskey and After Dark.
Mhm.
You got to pay
And
for this
also-
content.
And also buy these vitamin supplements.
Oh yeah,
That's our
Jeez.
tie-in. Yeah, our tie-in Lost Legacies vitamin supplements.
Mhm.
It'll put hair on your chest.
Jeez, here's the link for our OnlyFans. We just react, and we'll be like the Statler and Waldorf. We're just gonna react and trash talk all the OnlyFans creators. Oh, did you see that? Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's horrible.
Why would you put your feet on that? That's gross. That's weird.
I don't want to kink shame, but you know the feet
I'm
thing
not
is.
kink shaming. I'm just saying that's gotta be a weird texture.
I just took it back. I'm kink shaming. I don't get the feet stuff.
Wow.
And on that happy note,
Jesus.
our show's for everyone as long as everyone's consenting and not getting hurt. You could talk about feet as much as you want. Just not on our show. We're not about that, but you're welcome here. Oh, man. Well, you can hit us. I don't want you to hit me up now. I'm nervous I'm going to get hate mail after this.
God.
Find me on Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. Please, no feet pics.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. It's real. That's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
And next week, I will try and have a Lost Legacies email up and running.
Yes.
So until then,
Going dark.